Right, so here we are at Oulton Park for qualifying, and what a jumbled up session it was. So it started off obviously from assembly area, not from the pit lane if you've noticed. Yeah, and I think a car within the first pushing lap locked up going into turn 1 into the gravel trap. So that took a little bit of digging out, meaning that we were back pit lane. And then unfortunately it happened again on the restart, meaning that I knew timescale was not going to be great for the qualifying. We'll maybe get 3, possibly 4 laps in qualifying, but as we'll see in the later part of this video, not that we even get to the end, unfortunately. So yeah, my apologies as well for not uploading last week. You might be able to still hear it a little bit croaky and sniffly, but I'm at least not coughing frantically anymore. So I had a bit of a cold last week, and it's just meant that I thought I better have to delay this video a little bit, otherwise I'll just have a cough my full way through. But I've got a cuppa, or for anyone who's watching this video that's not from the north or understands me, a cuppa is a cup of tea. So I know some of you will be thankful that I've actually managed to clarify what that is. Yeah, so qualifying, very bitty session, hard to find a bit of a rhythm. You know, the tyres getting into the window, not getting into the window, and going out, just generally, you feel like you need to get into a rhythm to sort of get up to speed, and it was just a bit like you come out the pits, you start pushing, then you come back in, you push again, you come back in. So yeah, first proper pushing lap in qualifying, down towards turn 1, and we went from practice this morning. So practice was something that we don't usually do, let's be honest, and it was completely wet, so it was actually pretty irrelevant for qualifying anyway. But it did actually mean that we were still using third in corners, sorry, where it was probably 4th gear. We could have maybe just pushed an extra gear and found a bit of time doing it that way. But yeah, I think we really struggled with Oulton Park, just generally finding it a bit difficult to get in the groove and not really particularly happy with the car. We had a wet setup on from qualifying as well, which didn't help at all. Corner entries were alright, because in the previous video, as I said, we're running quite a lot of toe out of the back, which has given us really good agility and turn in the corners. But from mid-corner out, struggling quite frankly with understeer. So it's one of them where you can try and plant your foot, but you end up just chasing the front and you end up losing more time anyway. So yeah, it's one of them. You'll see it through here, turn into the first corner, and it's just from about there onwards. It just doesn't quite seem to have the front end that we needed from Snetterton, for example, where we really felt we would sort of grasped where the car needed to be at the end of race 2. But make the best of a bad scenario. We're into quali now anyway, and to be fair, the car's performing reasonably well for considering where the setup was. You can see they're using 3rd gear for turn 1. By the time we were in the races, we were using 4th gear there. It just made the car feel a bit more stable, and actually didn't push the front end on as much because of the diff. So yeah, you can see running it a little bit wide, and anyone who watches British touring cars, you'll have seen the support races. That's one of them corners where there's been a lot of really bad accidents on that corner, doing exactly that same thing, hooking the outside of that curb, and it flicks the back of the car, and yeah, you can end up in that wall on the left quite quickly. Put it that way, that's getting towards the top end of 4th gear, so you're probably exiting that corner at, I don't know, 80 or 90 mile an hour probably, so you don't have a lot of time if that decides to go the wrong way. But anyway, we're following, I think that is Chap Ruddle in front of us, and I notice we're not really on his pace, maybe dropping, I don't know, 2 to 3 tenths, maybe a lap off what he's doing. So straight away that starts to play mind games in your head. If I was gaining on him, it builds you confidence, you think you're in that window, but at this moment I think we're on the back foot quite a lot here, we're struggling for pace, it's not looking great. So yeah, we end up just maybe starting to overdrive the car as well. So this is now 2nd lap in qualifying, going on to our 3rd. and I'm starting to think in my head at this point as well, this time frame, it is getting pretty short. We're not going to have many more laps, if not this being the last lap before the qualifying is going to finish. So I need to make this count, making sure I don't use track limits on the exit of turn 1. There's a track limit sensor on the outside of that corner, and if you trigger that, then yeah, basically a camera takes a picture of you and you can't really get out because it's got a picture of you running off track. So you're trying to be wary about track limits at turn 1 and the bottom of that left-hander there. So I've managed to do that so far, been a little bit faster than my previous lap, and I would have probably said caught Jack a little bit on the early part of this lap. But yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, of a power track towards the end, especially with a pull all the way out of Knickerbrook chicane, which is this right-hander here. So focusing on getting a good exit, making sure we get the full throttle nice and early, running it as wide as we possibly can on the exit, and then the pull up here in 4th gear. Now it's a great section of track, this, really good section. Throw it in left, hardly any steering input, a little bit of left foot brake, and using the balance of the car. You can see there, just struck a little bit with the front end, but it's a great section of track there, especially when you hook it up well. It feels really rewarding. Down to 3rd, trying to get an inside line. There's a nice little groove you can hit there that stops you running wide. We managed to get it pretty well into 4th gear. I noticed the no check flag for this lap, and I'm almost certain in my head this was probably going to be my last chance. So we throw a little bit more at it here. 3rd gear, you know how early we are on throttle, making sure we don't run too far wide into 4th, just over the crest, on the left foot, on the brakes, thrown in, catch just a little bit of entrance curve, but not too much, and then for some reason, loads of mid-corner wash, and from this point, I knew the car didn't feel right. Unfortunately, on clipping that little bit of curb, it snapped the front left damper clean in half. So not an ideal way. Luckily we managed to get it round the hairpin. I'm still trying at this point to judge what's actually gone wrong with the car. Thinking, can I crawl it back? The car actually, it's driving reasonably straight even though it's at slow speed. And I'm thinking at this point, I'll get it back the pits and make sure we can get it out for the race. Then I hit the brakes towards the chicane and have an embarrassing crash into some plastic bollards. So yeah, not a brilliant way to finish qualifying on probably what was going to be my best lap of quali, but that's that. That is motorsport. And also, unfortunately, we went into the race and went from, I think it was qualifying position P16 all the way up to P9, which was ready for our reverse grid front row, which is, you know, obviously a really good thing. And unfortunately, probably about 3 laps from the end of that race, the engine decided to let go and the bottom end went, and that was our race done. But that was, to be honest, with race 1, it was the least of our worries. Out of a sign of respect, I'm not going to go into what happened, but race 1 was postponed from the end, if you like, was cut short, and race 2 was postponed completely from that day. And that's going to be rerun at another Civic Cup event. So yeah, race 1 also, I'm not going to publicise, I'm not going to put it online, just out of a sign of respect really. So my thoughts are with the family, and yeah, there's no real words for something like that really. So on to the next one, Croft, on this time of recording, Croft this week. So we'll be back to an upload next Thursday, which will be Croft Qualifying, local track, and hopefully we'll be straight out into qualifying on second lap and pushing as hard as we possibly can with a fresh engine in the car, even though we've depressingly found that it makes 1 horsepower less, but that's what it is. So yeah, on to Croft. I'll catch you boys in a bit. See you later.